all of you are safe, secure, and strong. It's very important that we stay optimistic, trust in the universal law. These challenges will go away. But those who are in New Jersey, please be careful. The situation is really, really getting bad. So please make sure that you are taking care of yourself and your family. And I hope and pray that this issue will be solved soon. Before starting anything, before starting the class, I just wanted to offer our respect and salutations to the healthcare people and all these other volunteers who are tirelessly supporting and fighting this war for us. I told you, like the other day, one of the nurses was talking to me. She really wanted to, she just wanted to talk to somebody, and I was talking to her. And it's such a great sacrifice they are doing. I was just telling that you're like a soldier fighting a war for all of us, for the entire humanity. So let's just remember them and get started with our studies. It's such a wonderful job they are doing. Yeah. So we'll continue our discussion on the 7th chapter. I have to tell you, this chapter is so good. Actually, when I was restudying this chapter for this class and putting together the presentation, I cannot but, it's such a wonderful chapter. So please pay attention, because what we are going to cover today is such an important topic. So this chapter falls under the 2nd section of the Bhagavad Gita. As I was explaining in the beginning, as I was explaining in the introduction, the Bhagavad Gita has 3 major sections. The first section, the 6th chapter, talks about the nature of myself. The second 6th chapter predominantly talks about the nature of Ishvara, or the God, or the Lord of the universe. And the third topic, which is the Bhagavad, means the chapters 13 to 18, mainly talks about the connection between these two. So in this chapter, Krishna is telling that I'm going to explain about myself. So today, in today's session, you are going to hear how you can see the Ishvara, how you can locate me. That is the topic of today and next week. So it is extremely important to pay attention. It is extremely important to understand that understanding. If you remember, when I was introducing this chapter, I introduced one point very clearly. When you love somebody, when you relate with somebody, it's important that you need to know him. Can you tell somebody to love X without knowing who is X, without knowing the nature of X, without relating to X? How can I love? So we all talk about bhakti. Most of the times these vishwasas means the faith, becomes a blind faith called antha vishwasa. Unfortunately, most of the religious people follow that antha vishwasa. I'm not saying that it is bad, but that is only the beginning stage. So it's like an arranged marriage. When you get married, you hardly know the other person, traditional days. But when you know that person in detail, what is going to happen? That intimacy, that bonding is going to develop in such an extent that you feel that both of you are one person, if it develops. So it's important if you want to create a relationship with God or the Ishvara, because the greatest support anybody is going to get in this universe is from God. If you related to God, you're protecting yourself, you're safeguarding yourself from all the troubles of the universe, and you're making yourself resilient to all the challenges in front of you. So it's extremely important to develop that relationship with God. So for that, the first step is you need to understand the God. So in the previous class we saw, Krishna said, I have twofold nature. There is a lower nature and there is a higher nature. And the lower nature is known as, anybody? Remember? What was the lower nature called? Exactly. That's wonderful, Nagi. Apara Prakriti. Apara Prakriti is the lower nature of Ishvara. There is a Para Prakriti, which is the higher nature of the Ishvara. And Ishvara, or the God, is presented as the cause of the universe. And we talked about there are two causes for the universe. One cause is called the material cause, which is called Upadana Karana in Sanskrit. Ishvara is the material cause of the universe. And Ishvara is the intelligent cause of the universe. So that is what is represented by the Apara Prakriti. So in verse 4, we saw that there are 9 basic components which forms the building block of the universe. Bhumi rapo nalo vayuhu kham mano bupphirevacha ahankaramiti yamme pinnaha prakriti ashtadaha. I am the nimitta upadana karana of the universe. I am the material and intelligent cause of the universe. I am the fabric with which the entire universe is made up of. Means the physical matter and subtle matter is part of that. The physical matter, we said, it is solid, liquid, gaseous state, plasma, and lack of everything, which is represented by the good old model of the 5 elemental model. So that is known as Panchabhuta. Every names and forms in this universe is made up of the combination of these 5 states of physical matter. Along with the physical matter, there is a subtle matter. We call it as ahankara, meaning the sense of individuality, the mind, the center of your emotions, and intelligence, which is the center of your thinking. These 3 are known as subtle matter, whereas the air means the earth, water, air, fire, space is known as physical matter. So physical and subtle, if you don't remember, please think about that example I've been talking again and again. The data stored in the hard disk versus the hard disk. Remember that, you all might be remembering that example, right? 80 TB of data is stored into the hard disk. The hard disk weighted again, it weighs 2.2 pounds again. So that is the difference. So along with this lower nature, Krishna said, I have a higher nature. And that higher nature is my Swarupa. Swarupa means that is my real nature. And that nature is known as existence, consciousness, and Ananda. And this is what is known as Nimitta Upadana Karana of the universe. And this is the consciousness. This is my higher nature. And this higher nature gives life to all beings. So both life as well as matter manifested from Ishvara. And I would strongly suggest you refer to this diagram. This diagram represents the entire division. So the Para Prakriti, which is the real nature of Ishvara, from Para Prakriti means the Apara Prakriti get manifested. Apara Prakriti means the material cause of the universe, which is basically all the elements. And then the combination of all the living beings and non-living beings, it comes from this Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. All the materials, including our body, comes from this Apara Prakriti, and all the life comes from this Para Prakriti. In other words, I am the cause of the universe. I am the creator of the universe. How? It is not that somebody created out of nothing. And if you remember, we talked about the various creation theories from different schools of thought. We said in biblical tradition, Islamic tradition, the theory is, especially the biblical tradition, the theory is creatio ex nihilo, which is very similar thought is there in our dualistic or some of our tradition, which is called Asatkaryavada. And when we move to Sankhyan philosophy, there is something called Satkaryavada. Asatkaryavada means something is created out of nothing. That is Asatkaryavada. The universe came out of nothing. The God created the universe from nothing. That is Asatkaryavada. And that's exactly what is this creatio ex nihilo, which is a Latin word, which is used in the Bible a lot. And in Sankhya, Yoga, Vedanta, they follow a different school for this manifestation or Srishti. which is called Satkaryavada. And within Satkaryavada, Sankhya follows a theory called Parinamavada, if you think. So a pupa turns to a butterfly. When the pupa turns into butterfly, the pupa loses its property and it transforms itself something into new. So like that, when the world, Ishvara creates the world from himself, the material becomes different from Ishvara. So the matter do not have content of Ishvara. So that is what Sankhyans believe. But Vedanta tells no, that is different. It's a little bit further. It is called Vivartavada, called something projection. Vivarta means projection. So the universe is projected out of Ishvara, and Ishvara is never separate from the universe. Just like the clay is never separate from the pot. The pot is only a name and form, but the real existence is the clay. Like that, Ishvara is never away from the creation. I am the Abhinna. I use the word, it's there in the scripture. When I say I, it's not mine. Nothing is mine. It's all from the scriptures. What I was saying is that it is Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana. This much we saw. Any questions? Please make sure that you are understanding it, because this understanding is very important. It is going to help you a lot. Okay, so if that is the case, let's move on. Let's move to verse 7. So we will see 7, 8.
Mattah parataram nanyate kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manigana.
Such a wonderful verse. Let's see the meaning. Matta parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam prodam sutre manigana ivaha. So let's try to see the literal meaning and let's try to see the implied meaning. Mattaha means me, to me, compared to me. Parataram na anyat kinchit asti Dhananjaya. Kinchit means there is nothing. Asti means existing. Dhananjaya means O Arjuna. Dhananjaya is a name of Arjuna. Dhananjaya literally means what? One who won the wealth. The one who earns a lot of money is called Dhananjaya. That is the literal meaning. The one who earns a lot of money, one who brings a lot of money is known as Dhananjaya. No, this is Arjuna. Means Kubera possesses a lot of money. Arjuna brings a lot of money. So the one who earns a lot of money, a typical CEO who is making millions of dollars, can be called as Dhananjaya. By the way, Arjuna has 10 names. Arjuna, Bhalguna, Partha, Vijaya, Kiriti, Shvetashaya, Dhananjaya, Savyasaji. These 10 names traditionally said if you chant, you won't get any fear. Yeah. Some people say the name of Lord Hanuman for avoiding fear. So this is just by the way. So Dhananjaya is one such name. So Krishna tells through Arjuna to all of us, he tells, other than me, there is nothing, there is no cause higher than me. Matta paratam na anyat. Na anyat means there is nothing else other than me in this universe. Kinchit asti dhananjaya. Asti means what? Exist. Na asti means not exist. Other than me, there is no cause for the universe. Understand? I am the supreme cause of the universe. I am the uncaused cause of the universe. So you can say that, okay, hydrogen means like atoms are the cause of the universe. But is the atom depends on something else? Absolutely, right? We know that the subatomic particle. If that subatomic particle is dependent on something, yes, we know that. It goes down and down and down until it reaches somewhere. And that absolute cause of the universe, the basic building block of the universe, there is no effect. Means I am not the effect of anything. I am the ultimate cause. That is what it is. Matta paradaram nanyat Kinchit asti dhananjaya. There is nobody has created me. I am not a product of anything. I am the uncaused cause of everything. I am not dependent upon anything for my existence. And he tells, right? Then he tells, Mai sarvamidam prodam sutre manigana ivaha. He just brings up a brilliant example. Mai sarvamidam prodam. Everything in this universe, whether it is plant, animal, or human, sun and the moon and the stars, everything from amoeba to Brahmaji, everything in the universe is woven on me. So the word prodam we will explain. It means woven. Like everything is sustained by me in like a string. How? Sutre manigana ivaha. Sutre means thread. Manigana ivaha means what? It is a money means jewels or the beads. So just like a thread holds all the beads to form a chain, like that, I hold the entire universe together. Without me, they won't stay together because I am the uncaused cause of the universe. So it's
One question here.
yeah.
Is this similar to Brahman? Like
Absolutely. This is Brahman. This is Brahman. This is the uncaused cause of the universe. Absolutely. Because Brahman means what? It's a name of the absolute reality. So the word Brahman, it's a good question because Ishvara is referred as Brahman or the absolute reality. The word Ishvara itself is misleading. So it has to be called as Brahman, in fact. Brahman means what? Brihi vruthaye iti Brahman. Like the word brih. What is the, anybody knows, those who Hindi knows brih, right? Big. Brihat Mumbai, right? They say. Brihat Mumbai Nagarapalika. I saw somewhere when I was traveling.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, means it means it is a larger. That is what it means. So brih means big or large. So what they did was, they typically what is this word brihat? What type of grammar construct it is? It goes in front of a noun. It modifies the noun, right?
Pronoun.
It's not a pronoun. It's an adjective, right? It's an adjective. So what happens? It say like a brihat Mumbai means Mumbai is there. That is the noun. And the word brihat, it modifies that noun and it shows that it is big, right? So what they did was they made a noun out of that adjective. What is that noun? Brahman. What does that indicate? Biggest, largest. That's what it means. Because it pervades everywhere. Everything else is in that. That is why it is called Brahman.
So, Rogerji, question. Like, when we talk about Brahman, don't we conceptualize the formless aspect of God?
It is formless.
It is formless.
Yeah.
So then, like, this particular verse, like if someone believes in Krishna, like the Dvaita philosophy, ISKCON, for example, so they worship Krishna as, Krishna with form.
Yep.
How does that reconcile?
That is not what that is not what Bhagavad Gita tells, but they try to see that way. That's okay. Like that's a viewpoint. From that viewpoint, it is Dvaita, meaning Krishna is the ultimate. Everything else coming out of Krishna. So that's what Advaita Vedanta talks. Advaita Vedanta tells here it is, since you asked this question, right? So per Advaita Vedanta, this is a Vedanta topic, I'll take 5 minutes and explain. The nature of the God, there are two nature of the God. And one aspect is called transcendent. And there is another aspect of God which is called immanent. Have you heard of that terms? Transcendent and immanent. So transcendent means what? What is the definition of transcendent? All of you hear the transcendental meditation, transcendental movement here in this particular country. Emerson was one of the proponent of that. Thoreau was one proponent of that. What is the meaning of this transcendental? And there is a word called trance. I was watching a movie called Trance the other day. It was a Malayalam movie. It's very interesting. So what does that mean? Trance means what? Or transcendental means what?
Beyond senses?
Yes, it is not the direct experience of you. So when you talk about this absolute reality, means what is indicated by this verse. This verse is indicated by something which is beyond my experience. Nameless, formless, absolute reality, which is not available for my direct experience. It is transcendental. And the Mandukya Upanishad, which talks about this, gives a brilliant example. Okay, I'm going to talk about that example. Just to make first of all, a word of caution. Every example has its own limitation. Otherwise, that is why it's an example. Otherwise, it's going to be reality, right? So, when you dream, imagine that you're dreaming. I haven't seen a dream without me as a character. Anybody? Have you ever seen a dream without you being present there? No. Okay. So in that dream, what happens? Imagine there is a kind of dream. It is called lucid dream. Anybody heard of that term?
Wait,
What is the lucid dream? Anybody saw the lucid dream by any chance?
you're half awake and seeing a dream.
Yeah, you're seeing a dream, but in that dream state, you know that it is a dream.
You know you're dreaming.
Semi-conscious.
Yeah, but you're dreaming. Imagine, this is a very interesting example. That is exactly what the Upanishad uses. A lucid dream. So imagine that in that lucid dream, we are conducting a Bhagavad Gita class. So in that Bhagavad Gita class, all of you are sitting. I am doing the talk, or Geeta is doing a yoga class. So Geeta is doing all the meditation and asanas. To whom? To a lot of people. And who created all those people?
Herself.
Geeta created, right?
Yeah.
It's the mind stuff of Geeta is being shown as all the different people, right?
Right.
And then in that yoga class, somebody asking you, "Hey, who are you?" So I'm saying, Geeta will say that I'm sitting in this yoga studio, I'm giving you the class. But what exactly is your real nature? So Geeta will say that since it is a lucid dream, you know that you are dreaming. So this is my lower nature. I'm doing a teaching class for you. But in my real nature, I'm in a bed lying down in Bridgewater. So but typically in a dream, you are not aware of your real state, which is not available for your experience. So that which is directly available to your experience is called as immanent. That which is not directly available is known as transcendental. This is what the difference. So the Nirguna Brahma or the supreme reality is typically transcendental, not immanent. But without immanent nature of the God, you cannot relate with God. Because 99% of the dreams are not lucid dreams. So that's why Krishna is going to explain now. How can you see me? First he explained the nature. He had just explained, I am the cause of the universe, I am the sustainer of the universe, and pralaya prabhavastada. That was the last verse, right? It comes back to me. So I am the creator, I am the sustainer, I am the destroyer. In that dream example, don't think that the world is Ishvara's dream. That's why I said every example has its own problem. So don't think that world is Ishvara's dream. Dream was only a metaphor. Swapna Drishtanda. It's only a teaching methodology to explain. And this example is given by none other than the Mandukya Upanishad. This is a very powerful example which drive home the concept of this transcendental and immanent. And also it talks about the Vivarta Upadana Karana. Because what was the material cause of that dream? It was her mind stuff. Who created that? Who intelligently put that together? The yoga studio, the lights and the classes and different people with different clothes. and everything came from your intelligence, whatever stored in your memory. So the nimitta upadara karna is Jina. Yeah, and then who is the creator? Again Jina. Who is the sustainer? It is Jina. And finally, where it goes back? Into Jina.
Sorry, Rajaji, quick clarification. So in the Mandukya Upanishad example, like I know you said not to think that way, but who is dreaming? Like, are we dreaming, or is God dreaming?
Nobody is dreaming. Dream is only an example. Okay, this is only an example. That's why I just underlined. Don't think that world is Ishvara's dream. Nobody is dreaming. This is just an easy way for us to understand. This is just an understand. In a dream, you know that the material cause is me, the intelligent cause is me, and it exists in me. It is supported by me, and finally it comes back to me. Nobody is dreaming. Because again, see, now Arnabji, think about this. You are sitting in that class and you are asking Jina, what exactly is the real nature of the Jina? Even if Jina tells that, I am lying down in Bridgewater and sleeping, can you experience it in that dream example? No way. Because that is the reason why it is called as transcendental. And that is transcendental nature of Ishvara is not a way for you to relate with Ishvara. You can say that I am a devotee, etc., but that will not connect you with Ishvara. That is why Krishna is going to give us some direct means. How can you find me? How can you find me in the immanent form? Because without me relating to God in the immanent form, the transcendental form it is not available for our senses. In Upanishad they say, Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. They try to find that out. And what they conclude? That from which my organs of perception retreats. That from which my mind and intellect retreats. Meaning what? Simple English. I failed. I failed to understand. That's exactly what is written. Yeah. And also the science talks about that. Even the uncertainty principle is simple explanation of not to this, but in a physical matter, even that itself is impossible. So what is the uncertainty principle? It's impossible to measure what? Momentum and position. Because by the moment, the process of measuring is going to change the position. By the time you measure the momentum, the position is changed. It's impossible. That's what it is. So visualize it, but don't try to get full understanding. It is beyond logic. The only reason why we try to explain this is it's to prove that this is not against logic. No logician can break this. So come back to the verses. We took a huge diversion, but what I just explained is the highest in Vedanta. This is what is Brahma Sutras and Upanishad talks. So if you understand this is really, really, really good. We developed into a good level, which is really good. We can go to Upanishads very easily. If you are, whatever I spoke last 10 minutes, if that makes sense to you, or at least you can relate to that, you all are ready to study Upanishad. Okay?
I'm still a little confused, but later.
We'll do that because it is not easy. So I strongly suggest, because next 2-3 weeks Vedanta class is this. So we just listen to that, Thursday's class. Next topic is Srishti. Okay? So Krishna is coming back to this topic. Krishna is saying that I am the uncaused cause of the universe. So in the Jina who existed in the dream was created by the Jina who is sleeping. So you can say that it has a cause. Krishna is saying that I don't have a cause. Krishna, when I say Krishna, that is the misunderstanding. Don't think that it is Krishna. Krishna is not relating as that Krishna there. Okay, now you explain. How do you know that? The scripture tells that. If you take that dream example, for all of us, it's not a lucid dream. There are some special cases. There are some special people, chosen one we call, if you borrow the biblical term. Such people, they know the transcendental nature. In other words, if I borrow that example of dream, their dream is a lucid dream. So Krishna knows who he is, but we don't know. That is why he explains. But this verse mainly talk about the fact that I am sustaining this whole universe like a thread holds all the beads together. I sustains the entire universe. And when Krishna say I here, he is referring to that Nirguna Brahma, Brahman without any attributes. So I am the ultimate cause of the universe. Absolute cause, uncaused cause. These words are, that's why yato vacho nivartande, the words will be inadequate to explain. In independent cause, everything else has a dependent cause. Then complete cause or material and intelligent cause, all this can be said. There is no other cause for me. In other words, I am not the effect of anything. I am the ultimate cause. Such a profound idea, right? So let's move on. So then he tells how I am the sustainer of the entire universe. I hold the entire creation together like a thread hold the chain. The whole universe is threaded together because of the string called God or the Brahman. See, when I say God or Ishvara, don't get confused. Don't just limit him to the God here and there. So the word prota means prota ota. It's these weavers when they use, right? There is called warp and woof. Have you heard of that? In Malayalam, it is called ootum pavum. I don't know in other languages. So that's what it is. Because basically that is what makes the thread, right? So that which holds the entire truth. Or woven. That is what the meaning is. So as in weaving, I wove the entire world into me. That's what it means. But again, this example has a limitation. What is that limitation? So here he's saying that I'm the thread.
Yeah.
But in fact, the beads also is Ishvara.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. That is why it's an example. Every example shows only one aspect. So don't get confused. The beads are also Ishvara, but here he is indicating that supporting aspect. That is why that example is highlighted. And Shankaracharya, as he is as sharp as Shankara, he points this out. Okay? So let's move on. Now let's get into the most important topic. The question you asked, Arnabji. Then let us close the book and go away. If Ishvara is transient, not immanent, then there is no way to try to understand Ishvara. Krishna tells, no, you can see that. Because I have an immanent nature also. That's why we already explained. There is a para prakriti and a para prakriti. So how do I see Ishvara in creation? The next 5 verses is going to give 14 scenarios. This is only 14 scenarios. You can extend that to anything. By which you can find this God in the world. So if you remember that example of that bucket and water, everybody remember that example, right? So there is a sun, there is buckets, there is water. Do you have to go to the sun to see the sun, or do you have to look up for seeing the sun? No.
You don't.
You can look at the water,
Okay.
and you can always see the reflection of the sun.
Yeah.
So like that, when you look at the creation, you can always see the creator. Please underline the word creation and creator are loosely used. Don't think that it is creation, the word implies that something is out of nothing. That is not asatkaryavada. That's not what we are talking here. So now, if you want to see the sun in that bucket of water, can you see the sun properly in every bucket of water? No, right? If the bucket do not have any water, even though the sun is there, you won't see. Agreed?
Yes. Or if the water is muddy.
If the water is muddy,
Or ripples.
ripples, so every creation, every objects in the universe may not immediately show or shines all the aspects of Ishvara, but you can still find him. So let's try to listen to the next verse.
रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दखे पौरुषन्दृषु.
Fantastic verse. 5 verses. Next 5 verses, Krishna is going to explain with 14 example, which clearly helps you to see that divinity within the creation. This is, please don't take it light. This is wonderful meditation techniques, Vedantic meditation techniques, which you can use to connect to the higher. So he tells, Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranavaha sarva vedeshu shabdaha khe paurusham mrishu. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. Apa means water. The wetness, if you touch the water, you feel the wetness, right? That's the property of the water. And if you drink the water, you get a taste. Means water itself do not have taste, but it helps. It is water that helps you to understand the taste. So it is the wetness in water or the taste of the water is me. I'm going to explain that a little bit further. Then he tells, Prabhasmi shashi suryayo. The luminosity in sun and moon. You see me. Pranava sarva vedeshu. When you look at any scripture, where if you look at Vedas, the Om in the Vedas, or any scripture, or the God in any scripture, when you look at Bible, it talks about God. That's me. Shabda ke paurusham nrishu. All the sounds in the space, we'll talk about that. And the strength in man and women, or the manlyhood of man, womanlyhood of women, or the strength in all human beings. Let's see. So, the point we are discussing here, how can we experience Ishvara in this cosmos, in an immanent form? So, Krishna is saying that my presence can be felt throughout the universe. Wherever there is a glory, you can see me. So wherever there is a glory, that means that bucket of water is reflecting the image of the sun properly, at least in that aspect. So you can see. So in the next 5 verses, he is giving 14 examples. So Krishna is basically teaching us how to spot him. So let's see. The first one is the taste giving sapidity of the water. See, water itself has no taste, but every taste is experienced because of the saliva. So that's why. Or in other words, another way of interpreting, I like that way, when you touch the water, it makes you wet. That which gives the power of wetness to water, that is me. So feel my presence there. It needs this understanding, it needs this bhavana. So when you touch your leg in a river, or when you drink a water, remember him, feel his presence, because it is the Lord of the universe that makes me wet. It is the Lord of the universe that quenches my thirst. Even if you drink Coke, it is the water component of the Coke quenches your taste, I mean, the thirst, right?
First, yeah.
The Coke gives only for kick, but the thirst is quenched by water. That's for sure. So, but I would just focus on that wetness aspect. So, if you take a glass of water and if you put your hand, you feel that wetness. That's a wonderful meditation technique. Just put your hand in a water and feel the wetness. When you feel that, remember this verse. That which makes the water, gives that power of wetness, is me. You can directly experience that. You don't have to go to Himalayas or Kailash, nothing. So that is the first example. So 14 example. The first one is Rasohyamapsu Kaunteya, the wetness of the water. The next one is Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo. Shashi and Surya. Surya is sun, Shashi is moon. So the light you see in sun and the moon, or every light you see around us, the moment you see brightness, the light, think that that is Ishvara. Amazing, right? When you open your eyes and look at the world in the daytime, you see the whole world is lighted up. Imagine that that light is me. Not imagine it, understand that. See, look at this. Krishna just taking the concept of Ishvara sitting in on the top of the cloud to our level. Right? It's amazing. So the light of sun and moon, when you see, these are all meditation technique. Very powerful meditation technique. Don't think that the meditation is just sitting in a quiet room and closing your eyes. Your life itself is a meditation. When you walk out, you're seeing him. Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayu. The shining light of sun and moon. One is in day, the other one is nude. And the light, Shankaracharya clarifies very well. Remember, the sun's light is called Prabha. It is self-effulgent. And moon's light is a reflected light, Pratibimba. So look at the precision. A lot of people, 1,000 years back, a lot of people would have thought that moon is just emitting light. So
The science is very clear there.
yeah. So Rasoham Apsu Kaunteya Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo. What is Shashi? Moon.
Coolness.
No. The Sanskrit derivation is, it comes from the root shash. What is shash in Sanskrit? Anybody know? It's a rabbit.
Quiet.
It's a rabbit.
It's a rabbit.
So Shashanka is the name of moon, right? So ancient times when they looked at the moon, they saw a mark, appears to be a mark of moon. And that's how the moon is named as Shashanka, Shashi. Just history, like every word comes from a meaning, root, right? That's how Shashi. So Shashi, Shashanka, Shashikala. So Shashikala is clearly indicating that it's a mark. Kala means mark. Mark of a, you can see the mark in Western concept, they say the mark of a man, right? In moon. Like that in India, it's not scientific, but that is what it is based on an observed fact. So it's based on an observed fact. They think that, yeah, in moon you can see the mark of a rabbit, and that is why it is came as Shashi. That's a common word used. So Shashi Suryayo. So here Krishna is saying that when you look at this moon in the night, that beautiful light, know that it is me. So the next, where can I find God? Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. Pranavaha means Om. Praharshena Nava. Pranavaha. Pranava means Om. Sarva Vedeshu. Om represents what? God, right? Om is a sound symbol representing the absolute reality. So Kathopanishad tells, right? Om. Kathopanishad brilliantly defines Om. Like it tells like people invest their time, entire life in brahmacharya and ascetic life for determining what? That is what is known as Om. This is how Kathopanishad defines Om. People invest, sages invest their entire life in brahmacharya for locating or identifying what? That is what is called Om. And that is the theme of the Veda. So if you generalize it, you can say that the God referred by all scriptures. So whenever you hear a bell in a temple or a cross in a church or that direction which is pointing to Makkah, everything, whether it is a temple, church or a mosque, whether you carry a cross or whether you recite an Arabic verse or whether you recite our mantra, anybody invoking God, whether it is through a tribal rain dance in Mayan culture or the most sophisticated Vedic ritual, wherever the God is invoked, understand that it is me. Pranava sarva vedeshu. Then Shabda Khe. Kha means space. Shabda means sound. Wherever you hear the sound in the nature. So there is an ancient worldview. Based on that ancient worldview, the sound was a property of the space. This is not scientifically true. This is based on the then prevalent worldview. So every element, they used to have an inherent property. They used to say that the earth has smell, like that space has sound. So now we know that, like in 200 years back, we know that sound needs a medium to travel. Empty space, sound won't communicate. It needs either water or air. So this example has to be taken as what? Whenever you hear a beautiful sound in the nature, understand that it is me. When you just lose yourself in a song, when the nature sings, right? When we meditate, means the sound of a rain, that itself is good enough to experience Ishvara. The sound of a frog, even like in New Jersey, they say, right, there is a special type of frog. They call it as peep peep frog, peep peep, something like that. It's a special kind of frog. In this particular area, it makes sound. The sound of the cricket, when you listen, when you in the night, if you can just keep your ears open, you can see a lot of natural sounds of the universe. And a lot of people experience this also, like when you go to a seashore or when you hear the sound of a wind, that's all good enough to remember Ishvara. That sound is Ishvara.
Because it's very peaceful.
Very peaceful, because that's where the reflection comes proper. Remember the bucket and water. When that reflection is proper, you will see that glory, and that glory is Ishvara. This is another means to relate Ishvara. Shabda Khe Paurusham. Paurusham, literal translation is manliness in man or womanliness in women. I just added that. And in other words, it can say that the strength, the power in human being, like the physical, intellectual, mental power. Whenever I exhibit something, understand that that power is a borrowed power. When a tape recorder sings a song or when a computer displays something, the computer thinks that it is its power, but the power comes externally. So anytime when I talk, when I do something, when I accomplish something, understand that I did that with His grace, with His power. So 5 examples we saw how to relate with Ishvara. One is the wetness of the water, the luminosity of sun and the moon, the God referred by all scriptures, the sound of the nature, the strength of the human being. All these are Ishvara's manifestation. So let's see the next verse. So another So it's 6 to
पुण्यो गन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु.
So he tells Punyo Gantha Prithivyamcha, all the good fragrance in this universe. So if the fragrance is bad, look at he was very careful to say that only Punyo Gantha. All the gandhas, all the smell is not good smell. If the smell is bad, what does that mean? The bucket is not reflecting the sun properly. When you experience a sweet smell, understand that in there. I will tell you, we'll talk about that when you go to the next slide, but understand that the smell is me. Tejas Shasmi Vibhavasau, the brilliance, fire, means the heat and the brilliance of the fire. When you experience fire, the inherent nature of the fire is the heat and that light. When you see the fire, understand that that is me. Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu. Whenever you see life, understand that that life is me. And then Tapaschasvi Tapashisu, the power of austerity in all ascetics. Like I can concentrate, I can meditate, I can do yogasanas. All this power in all these ascetics is me. Any demonstration of glory, it is me. So let's see. The sweet fragrance in all the objects. It is considered the inherent property of earth based on the ancient worldview. That worldview doesn't hold now, so don't worry about that. So sweet fragrance in all objects. We have to be intellectually honest, right? Because some of these worldviews have changed. And whenever, instead of trying to justify that worldview, we have to move on. Everybody explains based on the examples at that point of time. So there are a few cases where that worldview is not relevant anymore. We have to call that out. That is the intellectual honesty, and we have to do that. So sweet fragrance in all objects, this is me. The heat and the brilliance in the fire, the light is me. Even the brilliance of the sun we have seen earlier, that is me. Then what? The life, Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu, like the expression of life in all the living beings is me. And also I am the life sustaining aspects like the prana, the air I breathe, it is me. Anna, the food I eat, it is me. That is why we respect food. So this is me. And then what? Austerity of all the ascetics. So whenever somebody, power of concentration and the power by which one becomes a yogi, and they say that the yogi has all this power, the Yoga Sutra describes that, all this type of concentration power, it is me. So this is the 8, I think we saw 9 examples in the imminent world, right? It is not the transient examples which I cannot see and relate to. I can see this example in front of me and I can see Ishvara in this. So I will just do a summarization and we can have any questions. So the first verse we saw that I am the ultimate cause of the universe or the uncaused cause of the universe. I am not the effect of anything. I do not dependent on anything. And how can you find me? You can find me in the real world. We saw, so far we saw 9 examples. I think I missed one to write here. So we saw the wetness in water, the luminosity of sun and the moon, the God referred by all scriptures. I forgot to put the strength in human being, sound you hear, the good and sweet fragrance in all the objects, and the heat and brilliance of the fire, the life of all human being, and the power of austerity in all the ascetics. It's extremely important. this is the way to relate to Ishvara. And over a period of time, you see that divinity in all the being. Like everything in the universe, you could see Ishvara. And this, what is Krishna's goal is to lead us to his Vishwarupa Darshanam. Vishwarupa Darshanam means it is the entire world is me. The universal form of the Ishvara, because universe is Ishvara. There are two chapters in this second topic. One is called Vibhuti Yoga and the other one is called Vishwarupa Yoga. Vishwarupa. So Vishwarupa, he told one, many in one. That is what is being described. And Vibhuti Yoga, one in many. Wherever you see a glory, it is me. So in later chapter, he is going to give a lot of example. Here in the 7th chapter, since he introduced the topic, we are seeing only 14 example here. But at least it helps us to shape our idea. It is going to help us understand God a little bit more clearly. So that, as I said, like if you want to relate to a person, better understand that person. Otherwise you cannot relate.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.